For as long as humans have sailed, we've stared into the deep and wondered, what if we could go under? In 1620, Dutch inventor Cornelis Drebbel built the first known submarine, a wooden boat covered in greased leather, rowed beneath the River Thames. It dived only a few meters, but it lit a spark that would burn for centuries. 100 years later came David Bushnell's Turtle, the first combat sub during the American Revolution. Then Robert Fulton's Nautilus, 1800 for Napoleon, and Spain's Ictinio II, 1864, the first sub with its own oxygen supply. They were clumsy, dangerous, and small, but they were the first whispers of a revolution beneath the sea. By the late 19th century, the dream became real. Inventors added electric power, torpedoes, and steel hulls. The French built the Gymnote, 1888, and the Narval, 1899, while Spain's Isaac Peral developed one of the first electric-powered torpedo-firing subs. But it was John Philip Holland, an Irish-American genius, who built the first true military sub, the Holland Sixth, 1897. Adopted by the U.S. Navy in 1900, it could travel 11 knots on the surface, 6 underwater, and fire real torpedoes. For the first time in history, the submarine was a weapon. When World War I began, Germany turned the ocean into a battlefield. Their U-boats, undersea boots, were revolutionary. Diesel engines above water, electric motors below, and a range of over 8,000 miles. Germany began with 20 U-boats, built 375, and sank over 5,000 ships. The legendary U-35 alone sank 224 ships, a record that still stands. No other navy could match their stealth or destruction. Britain, France, and the U.S. scrambled to catch up, but the U-boats ruled the Atlantic. The world had learned to fear what it couldn't see. By 1939, submarines had become central to naval warfare, and 4 nations would define their legacy. Germany, the U-boat Wolfpack's Type 7 U-boat, the workhorse of the Nazi fleet. 703 built, depth 650 feet, speed 17 knots on the surface, sunk over 14 million tons of Allied shipping. Yet success came at a price. 75% of German submariners were lost, the highest casualty rate of any branch in the war. United States masters of the Pacific Key models, Gato, Balao, and Tench classes. Range 11,000 miles, depth up to 600 feet. Sunk 55% of all Japanese merchant ships, crippling Japan's supply lines. Fun 314 enemy vessels destroyed, including aircraft carriers and battleships. U.S. subs were fewer than Germany's, but deadlier, equipped with radar, sonar, and better living conditions. They were the most efficient submarines of WTII. Japan. Innovators of the Deep Japan built over 160 submarines, including the incredible I-400 class, the largest of the war, each 400 feet long and able to carry 3 bombers for surprise air attacks. Their range 37,000 miles was unmatched, but Japan used them for isolated missions, not convoy warfare, limiting their impact. Soviet Union, the silent Eastern Fleet. Often overlooked, the Soviet Navy deployed over 260 submarines, especially in the Baltic and Arctic seas. Their most famous, the Shchuka-class Pike and S-class boats. Soviet subs sank 160 Axis ships but lost over half their fleet. After 1945, submarines transformed from hunters to world-ending weapons. In 1954, the U.S. launched the USS Nautilus, the first nuclear-powered submarine. It could stay underwater for months and travel 60,000 miles without refueling. It was followed by the USS George Washington, 1959, the first to carry nuclear ballistic missiles. The Soviet Union answered fast. By the 1970s, they had built the Typhoon class, the largest submarines ever made. Length, 175 meters, 574 ft. Crew, 160, 20 missiles, each with multiple nuclear warheads. They could destroy entire cities in minutes and remain hidden beneath Arctic ice. The U.S. countered with the Ohio class, smaller but even deadlier, each armed with 24 Trident missiles, enough to level a continent. Meanwhile, the British and French built their own nuclear deterrents, the Vanguard and Triumphant classes. The oceans had become a silent standoff, a chessboard of shadow and steel. Today's submarines are not just war machines, they're technological marvels. Virginia-class U.S., nuclear-powered, stealthy, almost invisible to sonar. Bore-class Russia, each carries 16 Bulava nuclear missiles, extremely quiet. Astute-class UK, long-range hunter-killers with precision tomahawks. Taige-class Japan, uses lithium-ion batteries for silent, long dives, no noise, no exhaust. Type 094 Jin class, China. Beijing's entry into the global nuclear triad. And beyond the military, explorers like Trieste, 1960, Deep Sea Challenger, 2012, and Limiting Factor, 2019, have reached the Mariana Trench, 11,000 meters deep, proving the submarine's true destiny, not just to fight, but to discover.